is going to continually be important for us to instill into our families, right? And also, I meant to say this right before this. I meant to say this to begin with, right? I'm going to also say this. Us three, we are not claiming, like we always say, we are not claiming to be absolutely perfect, man. We up here are not claiming to be 100% without fault when it comes to our diets, when it comes to the things that we watch, the things that we listen to. You understand that? We are not claiming to be 100% perfect. So if you are watching this video, you made it to this point, and you didn't click off because you felt like we was being unreasonable. You understand that? If you made it to this point, all praise to the Most High, we are bringing this out as brothers that continue to work on ourselves to motivate and inspire you as a viewer or other people that walk by to also work on themselves continually and to understand how this has of the utmost importance, right? To refresh our minds and to constantly refresh ourselves about how important that this topic is going to be. And believe it or not, in the way that we are bringing these things out, this is not something that you're actually going to hear too often in the Israelite community, man. You're not often going to hear too many times about a brother get on the video, bring out some precepts, and tell you, don't eat Taco Bell at 2 in the morning, right? That may not be the best thing for your health, depending on your situation, man. Right. A lot of the times, you're not going to hear these things. So, therefore, it's very fruitful and needful for us to come out with lessons like this so we can remind ourselves about how important it is. So throughout this week, when we go to work, when we go to school, or whatever the case may be, we can be mindful and say, you know what, today I'm an intermittent fast. Today I'm gonna make the right decision for lunch. Today I'm gonna make the right decision for dinner. Today I'm gonna make sure my son, he might enjoy his candy today, he might enjoy whatever it is today, but tomorrow I'm gonna make sure I teach him a lesson about how you gotta eat your broccoli at the dinner table. You finally understand that? So let's read that.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 12. All things are lawful unto me.
Right, so just like we read in Saith, all things are lawful, read.
But all things are not expedient.
Like I just said, man, like eating fast food at the wee times of the night is not always expedient for us. Is it lawful? Yes, man, it is lawful, right? It's lawful. It's not something that you can say is a sin. You understand that? Going home every day after work and having a drink, right? Whether it be tequila, wine, strong drink, whatever the case may be. These things, is it an actual sin? No, it may not be an actual sin. There's no law that you can go to that's going to say, hey, you cannot drink liquor after you get off of work, right? It may not be a sin, but are these things expedient? No. Can you end up surfeiting? Yes. You understand that? So all these things, yes, they may be lawful, but they are not expedient. So we have to keep that in mind. We have to keep that in mind when it comes to our diet, right? When it comes to things we eat, watch, and listen to, right? And even drink, man. Yes, these things may be lawful, but they are not expedient. You can read on that. That's it.
That's more. But I will not, Slakia, all things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under power of any.
Right, read on. Read verse 13.
Meats for the belly, and the belly for meats. But God shall destroy both it and them.
Read on.
Now the body is not for fornication, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body.
Right, that's it on that. Can you go to that?
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 16.
I want the temple.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High.
Right, so as we always bring out, hey, what's going on, family? How you doing, brother? I like that chain you got on, brother. It's a nice chain. Hey, we out here reading the Bible. You mind giving us a couple seconds?
I gotta take care of something.
All right, brother. Well, we out here teaching our people that we're the Israelites, right? We're God's chosen people. We gotta repent and keep God's commandments. I see you got a cross on, brother, so that must mean that you acknowledge the life of Jesus, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, so the Lord died on the cross, but when we read the scriptures, we're going to find out that that's not something that we should adorn ourselves as jewelry. Are you interested in learning more about that?
Yeah, you bro. Go ahead.
All right, so real quick.
I take care of something.
All right, go to 1 Corinthians 10 and 14. About the 1 Corinthians 10 verse 14. Right, so let's say, for instance, right, say you had a brother or you had some type of family member, right, and let's say they got shot. God forbid. Would you then wear a gun around your necklace because that resembles them?
No.
You wouldn't, right? So this is the same type of mindset that we got to adapt when it comes to our Lord. Let me just read.
Jesus about the cross, bro.
All right.
About the cross.
What you mean by that?
What it stands for. I'm not going to go into it with y'all tonight.
All right, so let me just read one scripture for you real quick. Go ahead, read. You go to 1 Corinthians 10 and 14.
1 Corinthians.
10 and 14.
Con, the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10 and verse 14. Wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry.
Right, so we don't want to have any idols before us. So there should be no thing or medium that is something that we hold before the Most High God.
Go ahead, I said it's simple.
Okay. All right, we're going to let him walk up. All right, brother, well, I appreciate the bill, brother. We got to repent and keep God's commandments. If you ever around here another time, Lord willing, we can build some more there. All right, I'll praise you, Most High. Our body is a temple, man. Our body is a temple. Our body is a holy temple. Our body is not the Sunday church where we can be hypocrites, man. Right? Our body is not the church on the corner where we can say one thing in the church and then do something else on Wednesday, man. Our bodies have to be important to us. So let's read that one more time.
Con, the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3 and verse 16. Know ye not that you are the temple of the Most High?
Right, so our bodies are temples. This doesn't only apply to smoking weed. It doesn't only apply to telling our people to not do the harsh drugs. This doesn't only apply to telling our people not to be drunkards. It's going to also apply to our daily lives and what we put into our body, man. Right? Read on.
And that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you.
Right, and the Spirit of the Most High dwells on you. Right, so like the brother said earlier, right, think about how if you eating something like a fried chicken, or you eat something like a burger, things any of these like meats, you understand that? Say you're overindulging, these things are gonna have an effect on your mental health, man. Right? You can look into scientific studies and things of that nature when you're eating these animals constantly, and if you get to a point where you're overindulging, these spirits are gonna eventually hop on you, right? Because that is a dead animal. You understand that? So let's say I go out and I'm eating fried chicken every day of the week, right? You're gonna start to be sluggish, like the brother said. Your brain is gonna start to have brain fog due to all of the oils and stuff that you've eaten having a deep fried food. So what I'm saying is that the things that you eat, they are gonna have an effect on your mental health. So that's when it says, and guess what? So what being as though that the Spirit of the Most High also dwells in our bodies, we have to keep that in mind when we are dieting and with the things that we are watching and listening to, like I keep saying, right? So you got a point?
No point, Ken.
Okay, I'm gonna go on to the next precept. Go to the book of 1 Kings, chapter 19, right, and verse number 2, Bible share. Right? So I want to share a personal testimony, right? I want to share a personal testimony. Like I just said, we are not professing ourselves to be perfect at all. So I want to share something that I personally struggle with. I am a victim of the stress eating, right? When I got a lot of things on my mind, when there's a lot of things going on, when people say stuff to me that I don't like, and I gotta be the man in the situation and walk away from it, or when people do things that I don't like that make me upset, whatever the case may be, when there's a lot going on, I, as an individual, tend to look to those comfort foods. I tend to look for the platter. Right? This is something that I personally do. I tend to look for those comfort foods. So, like I'm saying, as a person that does these things, I am relatable to you if you are watching and you do these things, or these brothers around me, right? I am just as relatable to you as you do it yourself, man. When I'm stressed out, when I got a lot on my mind, I'm angry, I tend to look for those foods that's sweet, salty, savory, all those other things, man, right? So, stress eating, when you're stressed out and you look for that food to give you comfort, you look for that food to give you that dopamine in your brain and make you feel better, man. And these things have an adverse effect on your physical health as well, right? So let's read that.
I got it.
You got it? First Kings chapter, go ahead, 19 verse 2.
God, this is the book of 1 Kings chapter 19 verse 2.
Right.
Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, So let the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not thy life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time.
Right, so we're about to go into Elijah, man. This is Jezebel coming up to jump down to verse number 4. This is Jezebel coming up to Elijah. Elijah is about to be in the situation, man. Let's read on verse number 4.
Verse 4. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness, and came and sat down under a juniper tree.
Right, so Elijah is going through a situation. I'm not going to go too deep into it for the sake of the topic of what we're talking about. But Elijah he's going through something, man. He's going through a hard situation that he's about to have to make with Jezebel, right? And he say he goes away, he separates himself, right? So Elijah, he's in a stressful situation, and he separates himself and he sits under a tree, right? Read on verse 5.
Con, verse 5. And as he lay and slept under the juniper tree,
Right, so he goes and he takes a nap. Read.
behold, then an angel touched him and said unto him, arise and eat.
Arise and what?
And eat.
Right, so the Lord sent the angel. Now the angel said, arise and eat. Right, put something on your stomach. Read.
And he looked, and behold, there was a cake.
There was a what?
There was a cake.
What happened when he was stressed?
There was a cake.
Would they bring him?
A cake.
Right, so they brought him a cake, man. Right, so sometimes when you stressed out and when there's things going on, these things are okay, yes. Sometimes it gets so you actually stressed out, brother, go ahead and have a glass of wine, right? Right, go ahead, you know what I'm saying, enjoy yourself, indulge, right, to help your mental state. Right, read
on the coals and a cruse of water at his head.
Right, read.
And he did eat and drink.
Stop at verse 8, read.
And laid him down again. And the angel of the Lord came again the second time and touched him and said, arise and eat, because the journey is too great for thee. And he arose and did eat and drink.
Right, so I go into this to say, and guess what? This is something that's scriptural. When you are stressed out and when there's times where the world may seem like it's against you and all odds is against you, man, and sometimes eating and the things that you physically eat or the things that you physically drink, these things can make you better. But the point that what we're going into is that when you are stressed out, you have to be conscious of the decisions that you make. Or just because you're stressed out, just because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, you don't go smoke, right? You don't go get drunk, right? You don't go overindulge, right? So you have to know how to use the resources that's around you. Okay, yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a glass of wine. There's nothing wrong with having a nice old fashioned. There's nothing wrong with having a little decent rum and coke, whatever you like to get into, a little shot of tequila, whatever the case may be, right? Nothing wrong with having a little slice of cake, a steak. You know what I'm saying? That might be my thing, right? I'll go outside, get the grill going. I'm gonna throw the steak on the grill, man. That's gonna put a smile on my face. You understand that? Right? There's nothing wrong with these things, but you have to know how to use the resources around you. Where verse you at?
I'm at verse 8.
Jump down to verse number 10.
Con, it's verse 10. And he said, I have been very jealous for Yahweh God of hosts, for the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenant, thrown down thine altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword. And I only am left, and they seek my life to take it away.
Right, so Elijah got people seeking his life, man. Right, in a situation where it's all hell breaking loose, man. In this time, in this life, we gotta worry about these bills, man. We gotta worry about making sure our money right, making sure our spirits are right, and then the individuals around us, our spirits are right, man. And all of the other things that come with life, man. All of the other troubles and the things that we have to deal with in life, man. The same things that our forefathers went through. But when we have our forefathers, can you go to the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4 real quick, please? Right, but the things about our forefathers is what? That we can learn from them and how they use their resources in a righteous way. You can finish it off. Stop at verse number 11.
Continuing on. And even I only am left, and they seek my life to take it away. And he said, go forth and stand upon the mount before Yahweh.
And do what?
And stand upon the mount before Yahweh.
Right, so when we are in these stressed out positions, and when we are in these times where like it feel like we stuck in the rut and we're depressed and things of that nature, we gotta stand up before the Most High God. Right, stand up. Right, don't sit down and spoil yourself with food that you shouldn't be eating, man. Right, you want to stand up before the Most High God. One thing that you can do when you're stressed out, something that this brother taught me, when you're stressed out and there's a lot of things going to get you, hey, do some push-ups, man. Right, exercise. Because when you exercising your muscles, you're doing your squats and stuff like that, you get that sense of dopamine as well. Right, you get that, you get the blood flowing throughout your body, and that send positive things to your brain as well, what we know as dopamine, man. Right, when you exercise and the things like that, you go out for a run, or you go out for a walk, it clears your head. You understand that? So there are different things that you can do. You want to stand up before the Most High. You don't want to sit down and be naked. And when I say that, I mean be in sin, man. Right, be naked before the Most High God. You want to stand up with your mighty, beautiful garments on. You know?
Con. by Salakia and Yahweh.
You start at verse 11.
Gone.
Okay, good. You can read that real fast.
Look, the book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever thing were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Did you hear that, sister? All right, read it again.
This book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever thing were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Right, so like I was saying, the things that were written aforetime were written for our learning, man. So this is why we can read accounts like this and see how our forefathers used the resources around them for the positive things. You got a point?
I'm gonna read this off, finish off. That we do patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So these scriptures, how you doing, sister? You got 5 minutes real quick? It's 5 minutes off your time. We just read out the Bible real fast. I want to show you something. Just 5 minutes. All right, all praise to the Most High. So what we doing, we teaching our people. All right, all praise to the Most High. All right, so let's go back where we was at. Can I, so basically, all praise to the Most High for the lady to stop and hear the word. So what Bessie was saying, we was going to health and basically showing that health is more important in these last days, because in Jacob's trouble, we're not going to have the transportation that we got now or the things we got now, man. It's going to be some days that we're going to have to be fasting for a couple of days because it's going to be a lack of food. So we got to prepare our souls and our mind and our bodies to able to endure these things, right? Because I've been telling my kids, like, oh, they be asking for food all the time. Oh, can I get this? Can I get that? Like, y'all just ate. Right. Chill out, bro. Y'all just ate dinner, and 5 minutes later, you want something else. I'm like, yo, during the time of Jacob trouble, you have to learn how to be able to withstand your lust. Can I get the book of Sirach, chapter 23 and verse 6, Bible can show, right? Because it's a lot of people, they see it. Like, you're not even hungry, and you ride past damn McDonald's or damn a great cookie, and you want to stop and get it, but you know you're not hungry, but you just see it, and then you're like, damn, I want it. I want that, right? You got that?
Sirach 23 verse 6. Let not the greediness of the belly.
It said, let not the greediness of your belly,
nor the lust of the flesh.
Right, and that's the lust of the flesh.
Take hold of me.
And you don't want to let it overpower you. Go on.
And give not over me thy servant into an imputed mind.
And you basically going off because you're not wise now in that mode, because you know it's not good for you. You know you just ate. You know you only want it because you see it, right? You're not hungry. A lot of people don't need to be starving or hungry, and they be like, oh man, I want it. Well, you don't really want it. You just want it because you see it. I tell my kids that all the time. You see the snacks, or you see this, you see that, and that's why you ask for it. If you didn't see it with your eyes, you would never ask for it. You would never want it. It would never even come to your mind, right? Can I get the book of Proverbs, chapter 23? Verse 13, verse 25.
Let me make a quick point real quick.
Go ahead.
People, right? People see us out here teaching about this, or watch this video and then point their finger and say, oh, they're being over-righteous, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, you got these people that's in the desk, in the offices. There's a reason why the packaging is going to have that bright red,
right,
that purple, that yellow. It's going to have these bright colors and things of that nature. These are things that you can research and look up yourself. When they're doing the marketing, they're going to make their restaurant yellow, red, purple. You know, they're going to make up these bright colors that make you want to indulge in. Especially kids. They look at the candy and they see all the characters and all these other things. They put the characters from the movies on the packaging and things of that nature. So when you do see it, you want to indulge. So it's not something that we just being made seem crazy because we're telling you to watch what you indulge in.
Oh, okay.
Keep going, brother.
You all right, brother? How you doing, brother? All right. Hey, we just teaching out the Bible about who we are, right? I don't know if you right. Out of his mouth will flow the. Hey, bro, we got a fly for you.
All right, come.
Where we left off at? I know.
Oh, could you pull back up that point in 1 Kings chapter 19? Because you was reading a real mighty precept, verse 7, right? Speaking to the health, right? Because a lot of people, they feel like we gotta eat to just live every day, right? But we could kind of see that Elijah at that point, he was in a fasting mode, like he was just laying there, right? And so
Read verse 7 real quick.
1 Kings chapter 19, verse 7. And the angel of the Lord came again the second time and touched him and said, Arise and eat, because the journey is too great for thee.
Right. Con. So there was a reason for his eating, right? He had to go on a long journey, right? He had to go to Elisha, right? And this wasn't some run of the mill like I gotta go next door and kind of just tell somebody a message. This man had to go on a mighty journey, so he was eating for a particular reason, right?
I know, brother.
So it's for us to eat for a purpose, right? We're eating to live. We're not living to eat, right?
Exactly. A good point, brother.
Right. We're not living to eat. Like the Lord said, man shall not live off
bread alone.
Exactly, right? So the Lord said we don't live off of bread alone, man. So, and guess what? We don't always have to eat just because. You know what I'm saying? That's why we fast. Sometimes you have to put yourself in that mindset to, hey, guess what? I'm not gonna eat today. And when I get hungry and my stomach start hurting, you understand that? And now I get a headache or I'm cotton mouth, I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna endure that thing, man. I tell you what, one thing I learned is that sometimes if I'm intermittent fasting or something of that nature, or if I'm going a certain period of time not eating on purpose and I start to get hungry, I start to think, oh, I'm working toward my goals, man. Right? Oh, I'm hungry. My body is burning fat because the longer you stay hungry, your body is gonna start to burn fat for the energy. Right? So I start to think, okay, yeah, my body's burning fat. I'm getting closer to my fitness goals and things of that nature. Right? So when you're fasting or you're intermittent fasting or whatever the case may be, hey, keep that in your mind that, hey, guess what? I'm working closer toward my goals. I'm getting closer toward my goals. You understand that? Right. So you had another point? Can you go to the book of Psalm chapter 66 and verse number 4, Bible Shah? And can one of y'all get Proverbs 23 and 21?
I get Proverbs.
So can you go to Psalms 66 and 14? Just give me my last 66 and 14.
I got two more too. Proverbs. Okay. Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 21. For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty.
Right, so the glutton.
The glutton.
So, hey, how's it going, brother? You know these brothers?
I praise his most high.
Well, I'm Allah Shah. It's nice to meet you.
Azariah, King.
Okay. So, we going over health and, you know what I'm saying, being involved state of body, so you know what's going on. All right, so read that one more time.
Come. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 21. For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty.
Right, so the Lord said the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty, man. So a drunkard is a person that overindulges in drinking alcohol till he's drunk, right? And then a glutton is a person that overindulges in eating food. These people shall come to poverty, right? So when you are overindulging in synthetic, I'm gonna get two more precepts after this, actually. Right? So when you're overindulging, man, the scripture says you will come to poverty. Read on.
Con, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rage.
Read that again.
Con, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with rage.
Right, with the rage.
Rags.
Where you at?
Very top.
With the rags, right. So it says, and drowsiness shall clothe a man with the rags, man. So, and guess what? From being a drunkard and from being a glutton, like we were saying earlier, these things have adverse effects on your mental health. And it not only will you come to poverty, but you will be clothed with rags. So this is why you see certain individuals that is constantly not eating right. They don't keep up with their physical health in the same. A lot of the times when you see an individual, when their personal hygiene is diminishing, when their personal hygiene is lacking, you're going to know 9 times out of 10 that there is something mental going on with that person. Mentally, that person is not there. Mentally, that person is depressed. Mentally, that person is sad. That person is going through something, man. So when you see a person moping around, walking around with his head down, when you see a person with dirty clothes on all the time, right, they're not brushing their teeth, they're not combing themselves, they're not brushing their hair, keeping up with their personal hygiene, man, you're going to know that there's something going on mentally with that individual, man. So that's why the scriptures are saying drunkenness and gluttony is going to bring a person to poverty. So this is how you can prevent that. And there are also preventative measures for it. And there's also things that you can do, you understand that, if you find yourself in that position to get out of it. right? Get away from the drunkenness. Get away from the gluttony. Get away from those things to get out of it, so you don't end up in a impoverished state. So you don't end up clothing yourself with rags. End up not being able to keep up with your personal hygiene and your health, man. So go ahead, read that.
You said 14.
66 and 14.
Which my this is the book of Psalms, chapter 66, verse 14. Which my lips have uttered and my mouth has spoken when I was in trouble.
So I can read that one more time.
Which my lips have uttered and my mouth has spoken when I was in trouble.
That's Psalm 66.
Come.
Go to Luke 21:34. Let me see. Psalm 66, which my lips have uttered and my mouth has spoken. Yeah, read on.
I will offer unto thee burnt sacrifices.
So like start at verse number 14 one more time.
God. This book of Psalms chapter 66, verse 14. Which my lips have uttered.
My bad. So like start at verse number 13, Bob. Sure.
God. This is the book of Psalms chapter 66, verse 13. I will go into thy house with burnt offerings. I will pay thee my vows, which my lips have uttered and my mouth has spoken when I was in trouble. I will offer unto thee burnt sacrifices of fatlings. With the incense of rams, I will offer bullocks with goats, Selah.
Yeah, you can drop that precept. You can read that for me.
Come. The book of Luke,
If you just go to Matthew.
chapter 21 and verse 34. Take heed to yourself, lest at any time your heart be overcharged with much of fatting.
Read that from the top one more time.
Come. Take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with fatting and drunkenness.
Right, the Lord said, Matthew 4:4. The Lord said, take heed to yourselves, man. You have to take heed to yourself. Like we keep saying, you have to know what's good for you. You have to take heed to yourself. You have to take heed to yourself. See what's going on in your life at that time, right? See if you're not active at the time, if you're working a desk job, you're sitting down a lot, you may not have a natural active lifestyle. You may not be working a blue collar job, whatever the case may be. You have to take heed to yourself and see how you may have to adjust your lifestyle when it comes to your diet and things of that nature. Right, so read that from the top one more time.
Come, take heed to yourself.
Lord say,
take heed to yourself. Take heed to yourself.
Read on.
Lest at any time your heart be overcharged.
Your heart be overcharged. Read.
With fatting and drunkenness.
With what?
With fatting and drunkenness.
Right, so we have to take heed to ourselves before we fall off that slippery slope at the end of the day, man. We have to take heed to ourselves before we end up overcharged, man, overindulged. Read on.
And cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares.
Right, and a lot of the times that's what it is, because it's like you committing a spiritual suicide, man. You tell yourself, man, I knew I probably shouldn't have this drink because I've been drinking every day for the past 2 weeks, but man, forget it, man. You do it. You understand that? You getting overcharged with the cares of this life. You start to fall into that careless state. You understand that? You start to not care, man. So you want to take heed to yourself, lest you fall by drunkenness and gluttony and not taking care of your health. Last precept, where we at?
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 4 and verse 4. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone.
What did the Lord say?
Man shall not live by bread alone. Man shall not live by bread alone.
Right, so man shall not live by bread alone. So it is meaningful for us.